Thanks, Elle, for joining me today.
Thank you.
There was a recent ruling, it was Gary versus Citigroup, and Citigroup actually dumped their employees' retirement into the subprime lending, and of course, 52% got wiped out. So now I'm thinking, is retirement even safe? Because these people pretty much are left holding the bag. The courts are saying, too bad, so sad. You know, you can't sue your employer if they put your retirement into a risky investment.
So you've touched on many things. That's a very loaded question, but let's splice it out piece by piece.
Yes.
So 401k plans. 401k plans are retirement vehicles. They are in and of themselves not really risky or not risky. It's like getting into a car. You and I can get into a car. That's just a vehicle that's going to take us from point A to point B. Like a 401k plan is going to take us from where we are currently into a nice savings for our retirement age. What you put in that retirement vehicle is going to make it seem very high risk or lower risk. Just like the way you or I might drive a car will make that vehicle now extremely dangerous or very safe. So it's really, what are we putting in our 401k? And in terms of Citigroup, what we've seen is an unfortunate history that's repeated itself again and again. So Citigroup employees had the option to put some of their 401k plan in their own company stock. Now we saw this with Enron, we saw this with WorldCom. When you place all of your eggs in one basket, and that basket gets a hole, you are in trouble. Okay, so here they have their whole career tied up with this bank, their income, everything. And then some of them selected to put their retirement savings in their bank stock. So that is a very concentrated position in Citigroup. And when the market fell, when the housing bubble burst, that stock took a massive hit. And they did lose a great deal in terms of their retirement savings.
So should someone diverse their portfolio? I mean,
Most definitely. You have to think of each investment as a chance.
Okay.
So if you wanted to be successful and I said, okay, I can give you one chance or one stock or a mutual fund that has 500 stocks in it or 500 chances, which would you prefer? 500 or one?
probably 500.
I think so.
But how would I know, like, how would an average, employee know what to diverse? And I mean, it's not like we understand finances. How would we know, well, maybe we shouldn't put all of it in, city because they're going to have it in the subprime. Maybe I should put some somewhere, and where do we start from?
So we start with this, sort of tenet, this basic idea that diversification
Yes.
leads to financial health. So if you want your portfolio to go up over time, no one has that perfect crystal ball. We really don't know in a given year exactly what's going to go up or what's going to go down. So you want to own a little bit of everything so that you have this nice, slow, steady rise over time. And that's a diversified portfolio. So one stock would just give you one option. But in a 401k plan, there are mutual funds or ETFs, and that stands for Exchange Traded Fund.
Yes.
And those often have a few hundred stocks in them. So then you know, okay, I have a few hundred chances instead of just one, my company stock.
Okay, interesting. And is there probably a difference with if you're in your 30s, maybe you should take on more risk versus if you're in your 50 and if you're playing catch up? I mean, would you have any suggestions for people who want to, retire in their 50s but they haven't saved anything as yet? Do they take on more risk because they have to play catch up?
Well, there's a saying, right? A failure to plan is a plan to fail. So the earlier that you get started, the better off you are. So I love to see people concerned about retirement the moment they enter the workforce, because there is a time value to money, right? Money can grow over time, and compounding is so powerful. So that's where your money gains interest, and then your original investment plus the interest earns even more and more. And so the more time we have, the more we can really accrue through compounding. So certainly someone in their 50s who's looking to retire would have different concerns than someone in their 30s. And you have to take into account risk and reward. So the market goes up some years, but it will also go down some years.
No.
And you have to have a really good idea of what you need and what your timeline is before you can put your money to work.
Okay, so again, most of us, we haven't saved anything, so we're probably going to be doing a crunch time. So if we're in our 50s, we'll probably have to put away more money. Do we go for a risky return as well? Because, of course, like you said, time value of money, if something is doing 15%, we're probably better off doing that than 5%.
So not necessarily.
Okay.
If you're suddenly going to save for retirement and in your 50s, you have to look at realistically when can you retire. If you haven't put away anything at that point, you're going to be working, chances are, for a long time. Whereas if you have saved, you can plan to retire. When you retire, whatever you've saved has become this paycheck that's going to last you from that day through the rest of your life. So even then, you have to be very careful. Even for the person that was responsible and started in their 20s or 30s, you have to be careful about spending and how it's invested, because you don't want to see those very volatile swings as you're nearing retirement or when you're in retirement.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Elle. Thanks for the information.